starting now. This is your local news leader. News 10 ABC in the morning.
Lawmakers are expected to vote on a bill to repeal Governor Cuomo's ability to issue new emergency directives. We're live with a look at what's currently in that piece of legislation.
The things that have made us very humble about this is what this virus has taught us.
Dr. Anthony Fauci reflecting on a year of taking on the pandemic here in the U.S. The challenges, he says, are still ahead.
And you'll still have to mask up before taking off. How the FAA is now altering their guidance for travelers as more people continue to get vaccinated.
And that's the good news, right? More and more people continue to
Every
get
day.
vaccinated. Thanks for joining us this morning. Happy Friday, everybody. We hear the wind whipping around inside the studio.
Yeah, once again, the roof sounds like it's going to cave in any moment.
Fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
No, we're good.
We're all right.
Yeah, we're all right. Yeah, and we're not going to see the wind be quite as strong as it was earlier in the week when it was 55, even 60 mile per hour gusts. Today it's going to be more like 35 to 40. So certainly a blustery day for us as we are rounding out this first work week of March. Temperatures are also colder than where we were yesterday. We're hanging out in the upper teens to near 20 right now in the capital region. We have 17 in Albany. It's 15 at the moment in Saratoga Springs, 14 for Glens Falls, also into Pittsfield, Johnstown. You're sitting at News 10 this morning. Meanwhile, into the Adirondacks, we have some single digits where it's 9 at the moment in North Creek. When you factor in the wind and just the sustained winds, it's feeling closer to 0 in most spots across the area. We have a 1-degree wind chill here in Albany. As you begin to work into the hills and mountains, feeling like below 0. That's also the case into Pittsfield. And it's with the gusts then it really cuts through you, makes it feel just that much colder. And you certainly will want to dress for the cold and the wind throughout the course of the day, as we're not going to move much temperature-wise, climbing out of the upper teens this morning into the upper 20s by late day, and it will be blustery for the kiddos as they're coming home from school a little later today. Now, we're not going to stay cold for much longer. We do have more spring-like days coming in next week. I'll show you those numbers in your 7-day forecast in about 10 minutes. Mary.
All right, thank you, Jill. Calm and quiet on the roads across the capital region. Seeing a lot of green, that's a good sign. If you're heading out on this Friday morning, you shouldn't run into any trouble. Let's take a closer look here at 787 exit 8 in Waterville Elite, headed southbound. Traffic is cruising right along at 64 miles per hour. Another reminder at some road work happening on the Northway northbound is happening now. Started at 5 this morning. Pothole repairs, some crack sealing, closing 2 left lanes. That's from the Twin Bridges all the way to exit 10 this morning, and that's expected to continue throughout the afternoon until 1 or so. Let's go out to one of our DOT traffic cams before we take a look at those drive times. Oh, look at this tree right here. It is moving in the wind. Starting to see a bit more volume on the roads in either direction here on I-90 between exits 5A and 6. Let's go back to those drive times and take a look. Northway commute at 20 minutes and 6-minute commutes for your Rensselaer County commute and Thruway commute. Download our free News 10 ABC app. You can get it on Google Play, the Apple App Store.
Happening today, lawmakers expected to vote on a bill to repeal Governor Cuomo's ability to issue new emergency directives. News
10 ABC's Juliana Bruno live once again for us outside the state capitol this morning. And Juliana, we understand Republicans aren't happy about this deal.
That's right, Ryan and Christina. Many say this deal does little to limit the governor's power. He can still modify or extend existing orders provided the legislature gets notice of that and they have time to review it. Assemblymember Pat Fahey, who co-sponsored the bill, says the legislation is about preventing disruption with certain COVID-related orders like those that would impact vaccine distribution. She also says the legislature can repeal the governor's orders at any time by a majority vote. Meanwhile, Republican Assemblymember Rob Smullen says the legislature should take all of the directives and zero them out.
And then, with the legislature in session, go line by line, directive by directive, and vote and explain to all of our people why their freedoms, why their liberties have been taken for the last year, and decide which ones are necessary for the public health and safety.
A major talking point among GOP lawmakers is, did the governor have a hand in crafting this legislation? Was there some kind of backroom deal? Well, Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie says no to that claim. The legislature is supposed to convene for session at 10 this morning, and that's when we're supposed to hear about a vote on this bill. Reporting live in Albany, Juliana Bruno, News 10 ABC.
Juliana, thank you. A newly released News 10 ABC Emerson College poll shows how New Yorkers feel about Governor Cuomo and his response to sexual harassment allegations.
Mary's breaking that down for us this morning. Mary.
Yeah, results are pretty interesting here. A sample of 800 New Yorkers were evenly split on how they felt about the governor's apology. 41% believed he meant his apology, and about 41% believed he didn't, meaning 18% didn't even know about the apology, in which the governor said he was sorry for making anyone feel uncomfortable and championed a woman's right to come forward. As for whether the governor should be reelected, well, most people surveyed said it's time for someone new.
He's still very vulnerable if he was to decide to run for a fourth term. We saw that number just tick down a bit from 36 down to 33, but which is well within the margin. But still, only a third of voters think that he should run again. And even in New York City, only 44% thought he should run again. So a majority, even in his base, would like to see somebody new.
During that public apology Wednesday, the governor said he was not resigning from office, and according to the poll, 43.2% say that he should resign over these allegations. 34% say he should not resign, and 22.6% said they were unsure.
Thanks, Mary. For the latest on the allegations facing Governor Cuomo, make sure you stay with us on air and online at news10.com.
The shooting death of a teenage boy by police out near Syracuse may spark more debate about who first gets called to the scene of a mental health crisis. State police say when troopers, sheriff's deputies, and Town of DeWitt police arrived at a home to help a psychiatric crisis team already in place, they shot and killed a 17-year-old boy who had pointed what they say appeared to be a gun at them. Incidents like this have been strongly debated here in New York State ever since the police killing of Daniel Prude during a mental health crisis a year ago in Rochester.
Time to get everybody up to speed on the top stories trending this Friday morning.
The nation's top infectious disease doc, Anthony Fauci, reflecting on a tough year leading the fight against the pandemic here in the U.S.
So as we've learned over the year, we've been faced with something that is a very, very confounding virus. That's I would say, the very sobering part and the humiliating part. The things that have made us very humble about this is what this virus has taught us. It's been a very painful learning experience.
Fauci warned that despite making progress with the vaccinations, that we cannot let up on all the safety protocols just yet. To try to keep the virus from spreading, we need to keep it up.
Well, you still need to keep your mask on when you're getting on an airplane, right? The FAA says it still wants crew and passengers to continue to wear those masks on flights. Even if you're vaccinated or about to become vaccinated, or if you're headed to a state like Texas where mask mandates have ended, the FAA's updated recommendations fall right in line with current CDC guidance, which encourages masks on any form of transit, public transit, and so on.
United States Senate voting to begin debate on President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill. Vice President Kamala Harris, in her role as president of the Senate, broke a 50-50 tie to send the bill to debate. The procedural vote means that the Senate can now begin up to 20 hours of debate on this, followed by a period where senators can introduce an unlimited number of amendments to the legislation.
President Biden congratulating the team at NASA responsible for last month's successful landing of that Mars rover. President speaking yesterday in a video conference call with a team of scientists and engineers who worked to send Perseverance to the Red Planet, the 9th spacecraft now since the 70s to be exploring Mars.
It's so much bigger than landing Perseverance on Mars. It's about the American spirit, and you brought it back. You brought it back in a moment we so desperately needed.
The Perseverance mission team marks an ambitious first step in the effort to collect Mars samples and actually bring them back to Earth.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sitting down with Oprah Winfrey in their first interview since they stopped royal duties. In a recently released preview, the Duchess of Sussex claims that Buckingham Palace is, quote, perpetuating falsehoods about her. The full interview will air this Sunday.
Remember, for more on these stories and the latest breaking news anytime, check out the website, news10.com.
All right, time for this morning's Giving on 10.
And we're highlighting the Climate Crisis Control Club at Lenox Memorial High School over in southern Berkshire County in Massachusetts. They're working to offset the school's paper usage by planting 100 trees.
Terrific.
The cost is $5 for each river birch or red maple. That includes COVID-safe delivery and planting come April 24th. Teaming up with tree planting initiative Treeplenish, the 100 trees will offset the 1 million sheets of paper used at the high school in a school year.
Giving back to the environment.
Yeah.
Let us know how people are giving back and helping others, making a difference where you live. We love sharing these stories. Send us the information and a photo or some video to news@news10.com or post it on social media. Use the hashtag #GivingOn10. We'll get it on air and online.
All right, 6:10 right now. Coming up here on News 10 ABC, taking some lessons from the NFL.
That's what New York's largest teachers union is looking to do to get kids in the classroom. Find out what they're calling for next.
And not everyone is happy about a possible merger between St. Peter's Health Partners and Ellis Hospital. Why lawmakers and activists there in Schenectady County are pushing back on that idea.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio, Ryan Peterson, Mary Wilson, and meteorologist Jill Swed.